Good day, my beloved brothers and sisters in Christ. The fires in California have been absolutely devastating. Let's make sure to keep everyone in our prayers as this terrible situation unfolds. However, as it has developed, mysterious events and circumstances surrounding the fires have been posted on social media, strange things appearing in the sky, electrical failures that look like they may have caused some of the fires, videos suggesting arson, and information highlighting the government's poor response at both the state and federal levels to prevent such tragedies. First, let's look at some of the mysterious anomalies. In this first video, you can see something streaking through the sky. Some people claim it looks like a rocket, others a drone or UFO. There's no clear explanation for these objects, but they're definitely not helicopters, especially since most flights during this event were grounded, including fire department resources. In another video, a black, blob-like entity appeared in the sky over Santa Monica. Similar figures have been reported around the world during natural disasters. In this instance, it hovered above the fire. Despite someone suggesting it was a kite, its unusual movement and flight pattern made others skeptical. Additionally, a video captured a fireball in the sky. Although it could be a helicopter captured in time-lapse, the context of other anomalies makes it worth noting. Power surges were also reported, with some occurring the day before fires broke out in the same locations. One video showed sparking power lines, which could potentially have caused fires. Some suspect deliberate acts, as one commenter shared a similar incident in front of their home. On Instagram, a video showed a transformer lighting up the sky with a blue glow. Interestingly, this occurred near a location where a fire later burned severely. Official reports dismiss the theory of deliberate acts, but incidents like the Kenneth Fire in West Hollywood Hills are under investigation as arson. A well-known podcaster, Andrew Huberman, shared footage of civilians in Los Angeles allegedly setting fires near apartment buildings. Some fires even reached nearby trees and palm trees. Another video circulating online depicted young people throwing gas cans out of a car near flames, sparking speculation about their intentions. Benny Johnson reported dozens of cases of suspected eco-terrorism in Los Angeles, with isolated fires far from the main blazes. One occurred near a gas station, raising concerns about deliberate arson. 4 weeks ago, Joe Rogan discussed a firefighter's prediction of a massive fire in Los Angeles that could burn uncontrollably to the ocean. This chilling scenario now seems eerily prescient. Adding to the tragedy, insurance companies like State Farm recently canceled fire coverage for many homes in high-risk areas, leaving residents without financial support. For example, a Pacific Palisades resident shared how her elderly parents lost their fire insurance just months before the fires. Government mismanagement has exacerbated these issues. The Los Angeles Fire Department faced budget cuts, leaving them ill-prepared to respond. When questioned, Mayor Karen Bass refused to address these failures. Governor Gavin Newsom faced similar criticism, dodging questions from frustrated residents about the lack of water resources and preventive measures. California voters approved a $7.5 billion water bond in 2014, but many are questioning how those funds were used, especially as critical water infrastructure remains inadequate. Residents are demanding accountability as they face the devastating consequences of these fires. This tragic situation underscores the need for transparency, better resource management, and preventive strategies to protect lives and property in California. California voters approved Proposition 1, a $7.5 billion water bond to fund water infrastructure projects, including $2.7 billion earmarked specifically for new water storage. Not a single water storage project was completed. LA Mayor Karen Bass cut fire department funding by $17.6 million, focusing on homeless spending months before wildfires turned the city into a hellscape. LA Fire Department chief warned that budget cuts severely limited disaster response a month before LA's wildfire outbreak. Los Angeles had already shipped firefighting equipment to Ukraine, and now Biden is planning another handout as California burns. They got notification yesterday that their home will probably burn to the ground today. Perhaps it will still be standing, I'm not sure. The good news is that I'm a great-grandfather as of today, with a baby girl and a baby boy, so I will remember this day for a while. How red tape strangled California's forest management before the LA fires is evident. Gavin Newsom was seen complaining about how people were politicizing this. Well, it is political when you rule over a specific area and do such a terrible job that disasters are worse than they need to be. I've been trying to get Gavin to allow water to cover. It would have been tremendous for water conservation up there. They sent it out to the Pacific, trying to protect a tiny little fish, called a smelt, which is found in other areas as well. For the sake of a smelt, there was no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. This is a true tragedy and a mistake of the governors. You could also blame the administration. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants a lot of the time. The money can't even be accounted for when it's distributed in California for different governmental reasons. You don't even know where it goes. A lot of it goes to illegal immigrants and the homeless, and it's not even helping these people because the problem is getting worse. Let's look a little bit into the possibility of homeless people setting fires. The last time I was in LA, a couple of months ago, I actually saw a homeless person setting a fire not too far from one of these locations. From 2020 to 2023, the number of fires in homeless encampments doubled. Last year alone, there were 1,399 fires. In 2018, by the way, there were only 7 homeless encampment fires. Keep in mind that during the same time frame, California spent $24 billion on the homeless problem. By the way, most of that money is completely unaccounted for at this time. According to CBS News, in 2021, homeless encampment fires accounted for 80% of fire outbreaks in the LA area. So if you add this to the fact that California won't even trim a branch because all the hippies freak out about touching anything in the environment, this is what you get. Look, the liberal argument out there is that we should not interfere with Mother Nature at all, and that is why they don't do any forest management. There are actually evil, demonic forces behind the radical liberal ideologies that are so prevalent in California. Those forces don't want the betterment of society as a whole, they want its destruction, which is why we see funding going to things that really don't benefit society. That's why we run into issues like this. Fire hydrants ran dry in Southern California just when they were needed most. The millions, and even billions, of dollars that are unaccounted for, or have gone to useless projects, should go to things like actual aircraft and fire breaks, and planning for these types of events. This did not have to be as bad as it was. Even just the knowledge of having a pump in your backyard, a simple couple $100 pump you can get at any hardware store next to your pool, could have helped. Many people in these areas have pools. If all, or even half, of these pools had pumps, the fires would not have been anywhere near as destructive as they were. Elon Musk talked about how terrible government policies and overreach in California made the fires worse than they had to be. Take the California wildfires, for example. There's this fish called the smelt. We have far more freshwater runoff into the ocean than we should, really, on the theory that it helps this one little fish that likes a slightly briny freshwater-saltwater mix. If we keep more freshwater, the smelt will be unhappy. But there's no actual evidence that the smelt will be unhappy if we keep a bit more freshwater. In fact, we should keep more freshwater, keep the reservoirs full, and have some sensible fire breaks, pushing the brush away from houses. But due to environmental rulings, you can't do that in California. They're not allowed to create fire breaks or push the brush back from houses. That's just one example of how we could have saved a lot of tragedy in LA if they had done that. The Bible tells us that the love of many will grow cold as we head into the last days. Terrible reports came out of homes being looted, homes that were burned down, people going and looting these homes. In my opinion, this really shows that the love of people is growing colder and colder, a sign of the last days. Defense 2, go ahead. I could use some more resources up here at Pinecrest. I need help because there are people trying to break in. Copy that. Can you go ahead and give me a rundown of your resources? Luna announced that deputies arrested 2 people this morning for allegedly looting homes of victims of the Eaton fire. He had this message for anyone looking to prey on fire victims. If you are thinking about coming into any of these areas to steal from our residents, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be caught, you're going to be arrested, and you're going to be prosecuted. Don't do that. Stay out of these areas. It's only for emergency workers and people who live there. There are a lot of unanswered questions in the aftermath of these fires, and the politicians in the state of California need to be held accountable for their actions and ideologies that have led to the destruction of one of the most beautiful states in the country. They focus on things that destroy the nation and the state instead of focusing on things like preventing fires that they know are coming.